The principle and function of optocouplers. Optocouplers are also called photoelectric couplers. These are two types, one with 4 pins and one with 8 pins. Of course, optocouplers also have other packages. This is the circuit symbol of a 4-pin optocoupler. Between pins 1 and 2 is a light-emitting diode, and between pins 3 and 4 is a phototransistor. An optocoupler is equivalent to a device that encapsulates a light-emitting diode and a phototransistor in a sealed housing. When there is no voltage or insufficient voltage between the optocoupler's light-emitting diode to turn it on, the light-emitting diode will not produce a light signal. The phototransistor will not receive a light signal and CE will be disconnected at this time. When a voltage of about 1.5 volts is applied to the ends of the optocoupler's light-emitting diode, the light-emitting diode turns on and produces a light signal. After receiving the light signal, CE between the phototransistor will be turned on at this time. So how do we identify whether an optocoupler is good or bad? We can apply a voltage of about 1.5 volts to the ends of the optocoupler's light-emitting diode, and then use the ohm or buzzer gear of the multimeter to measure the conduction between CE of the optocoupler. If the multimeter buzzer sounds or if the resistance between CE is only tens of ohms, it means that the optocoupler is good. Otherwise, we need to consider whether this optocoupler is bad. Because the transmission of signals by an optocoupler is through light, there can be no direct electrical connection between input and output signals of an optocoupler. Therefore, the main function of an optocoupler is to electrically isolate input and output signals. For example, in an AC to DC power supply circuit, we often use an optocoupler to isolate feedback signals required by AC control end chips from output voltage, thereby achieving electrical isolation between strong and weak test signals. There are also control signals between motors and MCUs that we often use optocouplers for electrical isolation.